Morning everyone. Today is another day. So I'm welcoming you to SMC Hub, especially our digital class. So I want you to enjoy yourself. Today we're going to be talking about how to make basically a chessboard using arrays. But before I go into that, I need to let you know what we mean by arrays. So what do we mean by this particular thing that I called arrays? So what do we mean by this? So for you to understand what do we mean by this, arrays is what they use in making the row and the column. So you have 8 rows and 8 columns. So to make this particular chess board, how do they make it? Then you need to understand what we mean by what array. So on that particular note, I would like to share some of the previous objectives with you. So basically, at the end of this particular class, you should be able to define arrays, then list types of what arrays, then understanding the index concepts for accessing their elements in dimensional what arrays, which could be 2 or 3 or 1 dimensional what arrays. They should be able to write a program that demonstrates creation of a numerical array of 5 or more than 5 elements and learn how to use Python to create and solve matrix problem. Yeah, basically this is what we're going to be discussing because of this particular class. So I want you to just feel more relaxed to enjoy the class. So basically, what do you mean by what? Using index concepts for accessing their elements in dimensional arrays. Now on that particular note, we need to talk about what arrays are. So arrays are numerical data. Yes, used for storing. So basically when we are talking about numerical arrays, we are talking about what they use for storing numerical data. And another thing you need to understand in this is these arrays don't have what we call the null characters. So when we're talking about null characters, what are we talking about? We're talking about a control character with the 0 value. So a null character is programming code representing a character with a no value or a missing value, or used to denote the end of a character string. You may be asking, what do I mean by this? So basically we need to understand that in programming language, you are writing code, and this programming code that is representing different characters with no value are called a null characters. So if you are to determine this element in a null characters, we use what we call index value, and therefore you need to understand what we mean by index concepts and how to apply them in accessing those elements in the array. So I've talked about this. So arrays could be 1, could be 2, could be 3 dimensional arrays. So when they say 1 dimensional array, what do we basically mean? Yes, what we mean here is you only have something like a row. Basically, I have something like this. So I have this, I have this. So basically I have this 1 dimensional arrays, and we can access all these particular element. in the array. Yes, but when you say two-dimensional array, depends on the numbers of what you want. So basically, you should have what we call a row and a column. So you have what we call a row and a column, depending on the numbers of what column and the numbers of row you want. So this two-dimensional array, while this was one-dimensional arrays, and the values are the index. So it has 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and what 5. So these are what indexes that you can use to access each of these particular elements in the array. So basically, how can we do that in Python, and what do we use it for in Python? So what do we use it for in Python? So we are going to be talking about what they use it for in Python. Okay, fine. So I just explained this, access them basically in Python. So how can we so let me just write first. To make arrays, yes, in Python. Okay. So using list of comprehension. Basically, this is what I'm going to be doing. So I can make 1, 2, 3. So you can see this all through. Okay, fine. So if I'm to do that, what I need to do, I need to make a variable. So let me call my variable p. Then I have to make a list. So let me call this a list. So let me have 0 for I in range. So how many? Okay, let me say 8. Fine, I want to make this. So if I print P, basically what you are going to do, what you are going to see, so basically what we are going to see is how to make arrays in Python using list of word comparison. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, fine. So if I want to feed those particular elements in array, I need to use what we call the for loop. So I can say for I in, okay, don't let me use I, let me use J in range 8. So this is telling me that it's going to come in in 8. So it's going to iterate in 8 times. So let me just make one variable m. Then I want to make my list j. So let me say equals to integer open brackets input. So I can just the user to enter your values. So you can enter his value. So after entering the value, I can come here and say print what? P. So I can come here and say what? Print P. So if I do this, what am I going to see here? It's going to tell me to enter my value. So let me say my first value is 2. Okay, so fine. Now I know it's not defined, so I need to make it P. Sorry, because it's making the list of P, so it's not defined. So let me rerun it again. So I have 3. So fine, now it's working now. 4, 5, 2, 6, 7, 90, 45. So these are the value that I have inside my list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is called one-dimensional array. Then I can decide to add them together. So I think if I'm to add, that's not something you cannot do. So the first thing I need to do if I want to add is to make a variable. I hope you understand. It's to make a variable. Let me call it total. So it's to make a variable called total equals to what? 0. So then to use my for loop, so for j in what now? In P. For j in P, then total plus become plus equals to what? J. So equals what? J. Then enter. The total number, the total array is total. We're able to print the total. So the total array is what? Total. So I need to do it over again. So the total array is 272. So what it has done is it make the list and added all the elements in that particular list together. So let me see. Can't we add? I think we can add. You can say print open brackets, print open brackets P. So let's make the index 0 plus P. Let's make a list of what's 2, no 1. So let's see this. Let's see what's going to print. Okay, fine. So let's see what's going to print here. So I have 23, 43, 9, 86, 87, 5. So fine. So what it does is he added everything together, making a total of 414. Then he added the index of 1 and 2, which is 23 plus what? 23. The first index is 23, while the second index is what? 23. He added it together to make what? 46. Fine. This is what you can do basically in what we call what? So two-dimensional arrays. Two-dimensional arrays are divided into rows and columns. So the indices of rows and columns begin at what? 0. Yeah, to access each element of the array, you have to specify the two indices. One represents the row and the other one represents the column. Both are enclosed in a square bracket. So basically, we can talk about this here. So if I want to have a two-dimensional arrays in this particular, so let me say, yes, how to make two two-dimensional arrays in Python using this. So basically the first thing I need to do is, let's make my variable. So let me call it P. So let me make my list. So I can say 0 for I in range. No, let me just make 6. Then for J in range. Oh, 6. Oh, I just make it basically okay 6. So fine. Then I can say print P. So I can print P. So if I run this, so what happened? So telling me something happened. So in line 3, okay. So instead of what? Instead of 0, I use O. So let me rerun it now. So fine. So basically I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can make it, so I can say for I in B, for I in B, print what? I. So I can make it in row. So basically it's having this. Then I can remove this. If you feel like you want it to double it, you can remove it and reprint it. So basically I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So basically we can use this to make what we call a chessboard. So you asked me, how can we fill in this particular information on these arrays? Yes, we can access this particular information in this particular arrays. So if you are to do that, there are certain things we need to, I've told you that if you are to access those elements in the array, use the for loop. So what we are going to do here is, it's going to be very, very simple. So for, okay, let me say D in range what? So this is range 6, the first one is 6. Then for D1, so in range 6 again. Okay, in range what? 6. So I can now say let the guy input it. So I will have D list P in D, comma, then I have D1. So equals to, so the user can input and just say input so enter your value for the list of elements to in the rows in the array. So if that one is done, all I need to do is print. Okay, I can just say for I in P, for I in P, so print I. Print what I. So I can say it should print what I. So let me remove this. So I need to use two for loop. So enter the values for the list of elements in the array. So this much.